Hello students, the first chapter in mathematics in grade 9 you will learn is rational and irrational numbers. We will first start with the concept of real numbers. Students, you have already learned in your grade 8 about rational numbers and irrational number. So let us quickly revise here. We can say that the union of rational number and irrational numbers are real numbers. What is rational number, student? In the left hand side diagram, you can see that at the bottom, at very small circle, you can see that it is written natural number. And in greater than that circle, it is whole number. So it means all the whole numbers, you can say it as natural numbers. Then in the greater than that circle, it is written integers. So it means integers covers all whole numbers and natural numbers. And in the circle above it, it is written rational numbers. So what you can see that all the integers, whole numbers and natural numbers, you can say it as rational numbers. To understand the rational number in detail, we will see the next slide, and I will come to the explanation of irrational number in the second part of the chapter. Rational numbers are denoted by capital letter Q. You have to remember this. Okay, so what are rational numbers? A number that can be expressed in the form of P upon Q, where P and Q are integers and Q should never equals to 0, is called a rational number. Now children, I repeat, P is nothing but your numerator and Q is your denominator. So at the place of numerator and denominator, there should be always a integer. But one exception you have to remember is a denominator can never be 0. As you are already aware, if there is a 0 in the denominator, then it has an infinite answer, or you can say that it has a not defined answer. So we can say that, student, you have to remember 3 points for a rational numbers. So the first is all the fractions are called as rational. Second, since integers can be expressed as a fraction, integers are also called as a rational. You can refer the example. 2 can be written as 2 upon 1, minus 4, or any negative number you can write it as minus 4 upon 1 or whichever number upon 1. And 0 you can write it as 0 upon 1 or any integers in the denominator. But again, one thing, 1 upon 0 is not a rational number. As we already discussed, a 0 in the denominator has infinite answer. And the third and the most important point is any terminating decimal or recurring, when I say recurring means repeating decimal, is also a rational numbers. Student, what do you mean by terminating decimal? A terminating decimal is a decimal that ends, or it's a decimal with the finite number of digits. Correct? So you can see the example of terminating decimal 0.25 and 6.135. And what is recurring? Recurring means, see the example second and fourth, 0.6666, 1.215, so on. So the number which recurs, the decimal of the number which recurs in the particular pattern, only a particular pattern, children. A different number, it is not called as a recurring. If the digits are in particular pattern, then only you can say it as recurring. Correct? So a decimal with the terminating, the number with the terminating decimal or the recurring decimal are also called as the rational numbers. Let us have a look on the properties of rational numbers, or rules which you have to remember for the rational numbers. The first says the sum of two rational numbers is also a rational number. Means when you add two rational number, the answer which you get is also a rational number. The example, 2 upon 3 and 4 upon 5 are the rational numbers, and I've added it, and the answer is 22 upon 15. For your reference, I have converted in the form of a decimal. So you can see that 1.22 upon 15 is 1.466666, and it has since it has a recurring decimal, it is called as a rational number. So basically, when I have added two rational number, my answer is also a rational number. The second, the difference of two rational number is also a rational number. Again, I will explain this with the help of example. 3 upon 4 and 5 upon 8 are two rational numbers. I have subtracted it and my answer is 1 upon 8. Again, for your reference, I have converted in the decimal. So 1 upon 8 can be written as 0.125 and it has a terminating decimal. So again, when you have subtracted two rational number, your answer is also rational. The product of two rational number is also a rational number. So 3 upon 7 and 2 upon 9 are two rational number. I've multiplied. Product means a multiplication. I've multiplied this two rational number and my answer is 2 upon 21. I've converted in decimal. So the decimal form is 0.095238. 0.95238 is, again, when you will divide, again you will get the same decimal after 8. That 0.95238. So student, again it has a recurring decimal. So the product of two rational number, you can see that we have got it rational. The fourth property, the division of a rational number by a non-zero rational number. You know that why it is written here non-zero. We have already discussed about that a denominator can never be, it means a divisor. You can never divide a rational number by 0, correct? So that's why it is written here is, so I repeat, the division of a rational number by a non-zero rational number is also a rational. So 4 upon 5 and 2 upon 7 are two rational numbers, and when I have divided it, my answer is 14 upon 5. And 14 upon 5 can be written as 2.8 and it has a terminating decimal. So therefore, we can conclude here that the division, when you divide two rational number, your answer is also a rational number. In the topic of rational number, there are three concepts. Means, to solve and understand exercise 1A, you have to first understand these three concepts. I will explain all one after other. I will start with the first concept. The first concept is to find a rational numbers between any two rational numbers. Means you will be given two rational numbers and you will be asked to find the rational numbers between those two. In this concept, you will see two type of question. If you observe here, I have explained this in 2 points, point 1 and point 2. So let's first understand point 1. If A and B belongs to a rational number, student, I have told you that rational number is expressed in the form of P upon Q, and here they have only written, there are no denominators, they have only written A and B are two numbers, two rational numbers. So it means A and B will be integers. As we have already learned, integers by putting a 1 in the denominator can also be called as the rational number, correct? So that's why it is written like that. So if A and B are two rational number and you are asked to find the rational number between A and B, then how you will do? See, then they have added A and B and they have divided by 2. Student, this is the basic rule in maths. If you want to find the mid value of any two numbers, what you do, you add it and divide by 2. So it means you will get the exact middle value, right? So basically you will get the whatever comes between it, right? So to understand this, please have a look on the example, because with the help of the example you will be clear. So my example is, if 3 and 4 are two rational numbers, then how you will find the rational number between 3 and 4. So see, I've added 3 and 4, same like A and B, what it is written. So 3 plus 4, 7, 7 upon 2 is 3.5. So student, 3.5 lies between 3 and 4. So I've written it as 3.5 is greater than 3 and less than 4. In short, it lies between 3 and 4. If you are asked to find only one rational number, then this is enough. But if they have asked to find you two rational numbers or three rational numbers between 3 and 4, or like that many more, then how to do? So once you have found by adding those two and divide by 2, so you got exact mid value. Now what you can do is, now you can take the your question's lower rational number and this mid value, add it. So see here, my lowest, in my example, my lowest rational number is 3 and my that mid value which I got it as 3.5. So 3 plus 3.5, again I want to find the rational number between it. So I will add 3 plus 3.5 upon 2, which is 3.25. So again 3.25 lies between 3 and 3.5 because you have added those two and divide by 2. So what will be your form? How you will write it is, so 3.25 and 3.5 between 3 and 4. Now you want to find one more, suppose. Then first you had taken the lowest rational number of your question and the mid value. Now you take the highest one and the mid value. So your highest number is 4 and your mid value is 3.5. So add those two, 3.5 plus 4 upon 2, which is 3.75. So you got three rational numbers between 3 and 4 as 3.25, 3.5 and 3.75. I will again revise. You have first found exact mid value by adding those two and dividing it by 2. Then once you have taken the lowest of your question and the mid value, and other time the highest and the mid value. Now student, this was the question where you will be asked to find the two rational number between the two rational number which is in the form of integers. Now in the second type, in the second point, you will be asked to find between exactly two fraction which will be in the form of p upon q. Then how you will do? Again for that there is two method. The example is to find rational number, the point 2 I am reading, to find a rational number between a upon b and c upon d. So if two fractions are given and you are asked to find the rational number between it, then what you will do? So method 1 says add those two numerators and add those two denominator. How? So see, for that my example says find three rational numbers between 2 upon 7 and 5 upon 8. What I've done is here adding the two numerators and two denominators of this question. So I've added 2 plus 5 the numerators and 7 plus 8 the denominators. I've got it as 7 upon 15. So 7 upon 15 lies between 2 upon 7 and 5 upon 8. Children, you are asked to find two more. You are in total you have to find 3. You have only got 1. So again what you will do is the lowest rational number of your question and these 7 upon 15, add their numerators and denominators to get the number between 2 upon 7 and 7 upon 15. So see, when you add it, you have got it as 2 plus 7 9 and 7 plus 15 22, which will lie between 2 upon 7 and 7 upon 15. Why it will lie between it? Because you have added those two numerator and denominator. Once you have taken the lowest fraction and that 7 upon 15, now you will take the greater fraction, that is 5 upon 8 and 7 upon 15. So when you add it, 7 plus 5 12, 15 plus 8 23, you have got 12 upon 23, which will lie between 7 upon 15 and 5 upon 8. Write it in proper order. So the lowest will be of course 9 upon 22 because it lies between 2 upon 7 and 7 upon 15. Then in middle it is 7 upon 15, and then between 7 upon 15 and 5 upon 8 there is a fraction 12 upon 23. So this is how you can find the rational number between two rational numbers given in the form of p upon q. So what was the method in short is add the two numerators and denominators of a rational number between which you want to find the rational numbers. And the second method, again with the same question, the second method is the LCM method. What you can do is, student, make the denominator same of the fraction. So again the same example, 2 upon 7 and 5 upon 8. The LCM of 7 and 8 is 56. You know very well how to calculate LCM. Calculate the LCM and check. Now with the first fraction 2 upon 7, to make 7 as 56 you need to multiply by 8. In the maths there is a rule, whatever change you do you have to do both the side. So 2 upon 7 becomes 16 upon 56. And similarly 5 upon 8, when you multiply by 7 above and below, it becomes 35 upon 56. So now you have made the denominator same. So 2 upon 7 is now nothing but 16 upon 56, and 5 upon 8 is now 35 upon 56. Now children, this is very easy method. You can, once you have made the denominator same, check the numerator. Your numerator is 16 and here in the second fraction the numerator is 35. Take any three numbers, changing the numerator between 16 and 35. You can write three rational numbers. So here I have written 17 upon 56, 23 upon 56 and 29 upon 56. Between 16 and 35 I have taken 17, 23, 29. You can take any three. But do remember children, if you suppose take 26 upon 56, then you have to reduce this and write. So that's why purposely I have taken the prime numbers, so that there is no chance of writing the fraction in the lowest form. So if possible, take such numbers there. You don't need to further reduce. Correct? So there are two methods. First one was adding numerator and denominator and repeating the same. And the second method is make the denominator same by LCM and then check the numerators. Between those two numerators, take any three numbers. So students, you have learned first concept of a rational number, that is how to find the rational numbers between the given rational numbers. And the second concept is converting rational numbers to decimals. Students, when I was teaching you in the previous slides about the meaning of the rational number, there we saw the third point about the rational number was rational numbers are also in the form of terminating decimal or recurring decimal, correct? So that here we will learn again. So rational number have two decimals, terminating or recurring. If you see here in the second point, I have mentioned word non-terminating before recurring. Why, student? Because when the digits are recurring, it has no end, it goes on. That's why always with recurring the word non-terminating comes. So ultimately it is non-terminating recurring. So let us discuss the first point, terminating decimals. Children, this you have already learnt in your lower grade. So student, when you want to convert the fraction into decimal, what you do is you simply divide it by the division method which you know, and then you get whatever the quotient you get, that is your decimal. So in the above example you can see that the decimal 0.6, 0.28, 0.45 and 0.088 end after a certain number of non-zero digits. Such decimals are called terminating. I have already explained you what are terminating decimals. The decimals that has an end. Correct? Now, without doing the actual division also, you can decide whether the fraction will have a terminating decimal or not. How, student? This is very important, something new you are learning here. I've written this thing in a red. If the denominator of a rational number can be expressed as the power of 2, 5 or both. I repeat, either a 2 or alone 5 or both. Then the rational number can be converted into decimal, terminating decimal. See, we will see the examples. The example says without actual division. Student, in exam, if it is not mentioned without actual division, you can divide and check. But if it is mentioned that without actual division, you have to use this method. What is the method? You have to factorize. You have to prime factorize the denominator of the fraction. And if you can express the factors as the power of 2 or 5 or maybe both, then you can say that that fraction will have the terminating decimal. But if other than these numbers, then not. Even if there is a 2 or 5, but there is more number with 2 and 5, then also it is not possible to convert in terminating decimal. Either a 2 or 5 or both. Nothing with it. Correct? So the example says Without actual dividing, state which of the following have the terminating decimal. So student, for your reference, I have expressed all the denominator as the product of prime factor. You can see 6, 25, 7, all. So 6 can be expressed as 3 raised to 1 and 2 into 2 raised to 1. And student, just now I said nothing should be there other than 2, 5. And there is a 3 with 2. So it means the fraction 5 upon 6 cannot be expressed as the terminating decimal. Then next, you can see 25, 13 upon 25 fraction, and where 25 I have written again as 5 square. Then you have expressed the denominator as the power of 5. Then you can say that 13 upon 25 will have terminating decimal. Next, 5 upon 7, where the denominator is 7 and the 7 is a prime number. There is no, like, you can't factorize more. So 7 is there, and it should be either a 2 or 5. So again, 5 upon 7, the fraction 5 upon 7 will not have the terminating decimal. Next, 17 upon 3125. You can see the prime factorization of 3125. It is 5 times 5, that is 5 raised to 5. Again, you can express it as the power of 5. So you can say that 17 upon 3125 will have terminating decimal. Next, 18 upon 45. So 45, the denominator I have expressed as 3 square multiplied by 5 raised to 1. Now student, the rule is there should be nothing other than the power of 2 and 5. And here there is something which is in the power of 3. Correct? So you can say that this is not a possible, like you can't convert it in terminating decimal. But if you observe right hand side of my explanation, I've written 18 upon 45 is also a terminating decimal. Why? See, I've written, observe that 18 upon 45 you can write it as 2 nines are 5 nines are, that is 2 upon 5. So what you have to learn here is, this is the unique example. You have to remember this point in this concept is, if you can convert the fraction in the lowest term, then first you have to convert it in lowest term, then you have to prime factorize the denominator. Correct? So out of this unique example, you have to learn that if the fraction is in not lowest term, first convert in lowest term, then prime factorize the denominator and then decide. So when you remove the prime factorization of 5, that is the lowest term 2 upon 5, out of that 5 it will have a terminating decimal. So that's why I have underlined 45 also, that 18 upon 45 will also have the terminating decimal. So this was the unique case you have to remember. Next, 7 upon 32. 32 can be expressed as 2 raised to 5. So since you can express as in the power of 2, so fraction 7 upon 32 will have terminating decimal. And the last example, for 19 upon 40. So 40 can be expressed as 2 cube into 5 raised to 1. So 2 and 5 both is also okay. Alone 2, alone 5 is also okay, but nothing should be there with 2 and 5. But 18 upon 45, the unique case we have to remember. So fraction 19 upon 40 will also have the terminating decimal. Correct? Now, the second concept in converting rational number to decimal is non-terminating recurring. That recurring means repeating decimal. So with the example, we will see this. So first example is 2 upon 3. For your reference, I have divided their children. So when you will divide, on the further division, you will get the same remainder in each step. And the division process does not terminate. Does not terminate means it will not end. So such type of decimals are called non-terminating recurring or non-terminating repeating decimals. One more example of non-terminating recurring decimal. The example number 2, 4 upon 7. So again you can refer the division. After the sixth step, student, after the sixth step, the first step is where I have done 7 5s are 35. Second step is 7 7s are 49. Third step is 7 1s are 7. Fourth step is 7 4s are 28. Fifth step is 7 2s are 14. Sixth step is 7 8s are 56. And when you subtract 56 by 60, you will get 4. And student, remember, you had started with the dividend as 4. So again you will get the same quotient, that 5 7 1 4 2 8. Then again you will get 4 and the process will be continued. So the number in the quotient are also repeated after 0.571428. So you can say that I've put the bar above 5 7 up to 8, because in that pattern again I will get the quotient. Correct? Now children, in this concept there is one more small topic, a notation for recurring decimal. Again, this you have already learned in your lower grade. We will just revise quickly. The first point says, if the recurring decimal contains only one repeating digit, a dot or a bar above the repeating digit is put. You can see the example. 0.6666, 2/3 can be written as 0.66. Only 6 is repeating, so either you can put 6 above 6 a dot or a bar. Similarly, in next example only 3 is repeating, 8 is not repeating, only 3, so I have put only bar or a dot above 3. The second point says, if the 2 digits are repeated in the recurring decimal, a dot above each digit or a bar above both the repeating digit is put. You can see the example. 3 upon 11 can be written as 0.2727. So it means 2 and 7 both are recurring decimal. So bar above 27 or a dot above 2 and above 7 both. Point 3. If 3 or more digits are repeated, a dot above the first digit and a dot above the last digit is put. Not above all the digits. Remember children, only above the first and the last. So you can see the example. 11 by 7 can be written as 1.571428. So the pattern is 571428. So in the pattern, the first digit 5 and the last 8. Above both, you have to put the dot and either a bar. Now student, you have learned two concepts in the topic of rational number. The first, I again repeat, how to find the rational numbers between the given two rational numbers, and the second was converting rational numbers to decimal. Correct? And one last and the very important topic, the third topic, is converting a recurring decimals as a rational numbers. How to convert the recurring decimal as a rational numbers. Student, if it is a terminating decimal, say for example, if it is 6.2, and if I asked you to convert it in the fraction, what you will do is 6.2 you can write it as 62 upon 10, and then you will write it in the lowest form, 31 upon 5. Correct? So when the question has a terminating decimal, you can easily convert that decimal in fraction. But when it is a recurring decimal, the question has a recurring decimal, then how you will convert? So this is something new again you are learning here. Is I've written a steps for your reference here, children. So I will speak about this concept in the next slide. I will explain you the steps with the example in the next slide. So students, we were talking about converting a recurring decimal as a rational number. So let's start. I'm reading the steps written on the left hand side bottom. First step, assume the given rational number as x. Remove the bar and write it as equation 1. Student, when I'm reading these steps, you have to look to the example number 1. So I will explain you these steps with the example so that it will be very easy for you to understand. So what was my first step? Assume the given rational number as x. So see example 1, 1.7 bar. I've assumed the question 1.7 bar as x. So I've written let x is equals to 1.7 bar. Now we have to remove the bar and then you have to write it as equation 1. So I have split 7 as 7, 7, 7, 7, so on, and then I have written it as equation number 1. Now children, step number 2. Step B I am reading here. If in the given rational number one digit is recurring, then multiply equation 1 by 10. 2 digits are recurring, then multiply equation 1 by 100. If suppose 3 digits are recurring, then by 1000 and so on. So you have to decide by seeing the how many digits are recurring. Upon that you will decide that whether I will multiply equation by 10, 100, 1000 and so on. So in our example number 1, only 7 is recurring, which is, so it means only one digit is recurring. So that's why I have multiplied equation 1 by 10. And in maths it is rule that you have to multiply by both the sides. So equation 1, left hand side is x, x multiplied by 10 is 10x, and 1.7777 multiplied by 10 is 17.777. How, student? In multiplication, a decimal point shifts to the right, and since you are multiplying by 10 and 10 has 1 0, so since in 10 there is 1 0, a decimal will shift one time to the right. So if you observe the equation number 1, 1.777, in that a decimal point has shifted 1 to the right, so that's why it has become 17.777, so on. And then you have to name it as equation number 2. Now the third step number C, subtract equation 1 from 2 always. So I have subtracted equation 1 from 2. See, student, here I have done a horizontal way for subtraction. You can use vertical also, your choice. So left hand side minus left hand side, right hand side minus right hand side. So 10x minus x is equal to 17.777, so on, minus 1.777, so on. Next step, now simplify and get the answer. So 10x minus x is 9x, 17.77 dot dot minus 1.777 is equals to 16. All the numbers, all the digits after decimal point will be null. You can see the working I've done for you. So it's 16 and I'll shift 9 this side, so it will become 9. So x was nothing but your question, and so replace the x by question. Question is 1.7 bar, so 1.7 bar is nothing but 16 upon 9. And whenever there is an improper fraction, you have to convert it in mixed. Correct? So steps was, assume the question as x, open it and write it as equation number 1. Remove the bar and write it as equation number 1. Then multiply equation 1 by seeing the how many digits are recurring. If 1 then 10, 2 then 100, 3 then 1000, and so on. Then subtract equation 1 from 2 always. Why 1 from 2? Because equation 2 will be always greater than 1. So we will subtract a smaller one from the bigger one. Left side minus left side, right side minus right side. Simplify and get the answer. I will also explain you the second example. Second example is 0.47 bar. Assume the question as x, so let x is equal to 0.47 bar. Remove the bar and write it as equation number 1. Then here 4 and 7, 2 digits are recurring. So 2 digits are recurring, so we will multiply by 100. So I have multiplied equation 1 by 100. So x multiplied by 100 is 100x. 0.474747 dot 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 multiplied by 100 is 47.47, so on. Here again I will tell you the rule. A decimal point will shift 2 times to the right. Why 2 times? Because 100 has 2 zeros. Then subtract equation 1 from 2 and get the answer. Continuing the same concept, one more example, 2.357 bar. Again, first step is assume the question as x, remove the bar and number it as 1. So I've written x is equals to 2.357357, so on, as equation number 1. Then here 357, 3 digits are recurring. That's why I have multiplied equation 1 by 1000. So x into 1000 is 1000x, and 2.357357 multiplied by 100 is, a decimal point will shift 3 times to the right. So it will come after 7. So 2357.357357, so on, and number it as equation number 2. Now as the third step says, always subtract equation 1 from 2. So simplify your answer. You have to always write the final answer in the lowest term. You have to reduce the fraction, and if it is improper fraction, then mixed fraction. Do remember this thing. Now student, one last different question here. 5.341 bar. So bar is only above 4 and 1. correct, not to the all the digits after decimal point. So this is the unique question, a different question. You have to listen carefully the steps. Till step number 1 it is same. Assume the question as x, remove the bar and number it as 1. Now student, what you have to do, always remember, in such type of question, first count how many digits are there after decimal point. So in this question there are 3 digits, 3, 4 and 1, 3 digits. Since there are 3 digits after decimal point, multiply equation 1 by 1000 and number it as equation number 2. If there would have 2 digits, I would have done by 100. But here there are 3 digits, so I have done by 1000 and number it as 2. Now since the bar is not above all the 3 digits, it is only above the 2 out of the 3. So it means 3 minus 2, 1. There is 1 digit above which bar is not there. So since there is 1 digit above which bar is not there and 1, since it is 1, we will multiply equation 1 again by 10. And after multiplying it by 10, number it as equation number 3. And now subtract equation 3 from 2. Why 3 from 2? Because second one is the greater equation. So we will always subtract a bigger from a bigger, the smaller one. And when you will subtract it, left hand side minus left hand side, right hand side minus right hand side, you will get the answer as 5288 upon 990. And then reduce the fraction. Since it is improper fraction, convert it in mixed. And here the concept of rational number ends. In the next slides we will learn about irrational numbers and the many more different concepts. Student, in the next slides we have attached the solving of exercise 1A. We have kept few sums for you as a homework to try, and you can refer our solution and then you can complete the exercise. Thank you.